muted, brother. Can't hear.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, okay, good. It's not just me.
It's just
All right,
Monty.
cool.
Okay.
All right, folks, we're here. WrestlePurists Worldwide.
It took long enough.
Well, I didn't know if it was just me or if I can hear anyone. It's been a stressful evening. It's been a stressful evening. We've had we had the wrong start time because
we ended up going live at about the same time anyway, bro.
Yeah,
so it's
it's been hectic,
you know.
We're calling it in the ring. We didn't get put together beforehand.
Joe froze then, though, chat. I can't lie. Joe froze on me.
This is my middle show. I'm supposed to have my feet up.
He spotted the problem. He recognised it. He announced the problem. Then did nothing about it, chat.
Because it may have been my problem.
Froze.
It may have been my problem.
Anyway,
it's not my fault. I'm innocent here. It's on you, bro. Ain't on
me. No, brother, no. I'm just saying. You froze on me. You know, you're meant to be one of my top guys. You know. Okay. Anyway, we are live. WrestlePurists Worldwide, episode 122, hosted by myself, Anna, and Joe Hulbert. AEW Revolution is finally done and dusted. A lot to talk about coming out of it. Of course, we're going to get into all of that. We're going to go through the whole show. A few other things as well from the weekend that I want to get into. But first things first, please like, subscribe, send any super chats, any questions, any takes, any topics, anything at all that you want us to get into. Get them sent in and I will pull them up as soon as I can. But with that being said, Anna, not on camera again. My workers are just letting me down tonight. You know, they're just letting me down. Nah, Anna's good. She's she's on the low key, podcasting from the shadows.
Yes, I survived the past 2 weeks that I was very sick with the flu. Now I'm alive, guys. I made it, but the camera's still off for this week. Okay, we're going back to normal next week. Next week, actually, that I have Raw. I'm gonna go to Raw. I had forgotten about that completely. But yes, they are selling special John Cena Belgium socks that I will try to buy. I will be having that shit on, and I will be here. So yeah, I couldn't finish Revolution because we got the timing wrong, you know, like I didn't know about the daylight savings just in the US, because why would I know that? So I made it all the way to the Kenny Takeshita match. I still haven't seen the amazing main event that you guys are talking so well about, but you know, I'll try to catch up with that later. You can follow me on Twitter and see my opinions there, but yes, I am here today. I'm sorry that I couldn't finish Revolution. I tried. I really tried. I had timed it so perfectly, Monty. I did the math. I counted all the times of the matches. And I said, like, okay, for me to finish by midnight, I have to start this time. It was perfect. Oh.
Well, you know, we botched it. So, you know.
Yeah.
It happened, you know, but... you know, we're obviously me and Joe. We've seen the show. I think you did a grin along or something, didn't you, Joe? You was watching it live.
I did, yeah. Those grin alongs are pretty. They're extensive shows, man. By the end of them, you're like,
you keep booking yourself for them, though.
They're advertised, dude. You know?
You do. You book it.
Look, dude. I'm running a business here. Okay, it's not a television product. I'm taking the consumer's money for grin alongs. I do the grin alongs. That's the way I work in this business. You know. Here's what it is. I can't just put Novi out there. No one watch that.
Oh, come on. That was spiteful. Novi. Why Novi?
Okay, Caden Lee.
Novi's an emerging talent, you know what I mean? He's just been put up to the main roster. You know what I mean? He's on the Dynamite reviews now.
He's a good hand. Good little worker. But he can't draw a house. Here's what it is.
But what's going on with you today, Joe? You good?
I think so. I don't know. I'm slightly concussed from our opening exchange, but other than that, I'm fine. And
shot on you.
I'm very worried about the pace of this show. Very concerned. I feel like we're gonna have to really. I'm ready to work pretty hard tonight, guys.
Listen,
Superplex,
good, man. We've got.
I'm not as confident as you.
I'm always confident, bro. Even when we end up going 30 minutes over, I'm still confident going into it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. I'm gonna do a superplex today. I'm gonna do a tope.
Cool. All right, let's we got just a couple super chats just to get us started, but keep them coming, people. But I do want to go through these first couple first because You know, I'm just kind like that. David Camp 999, appreciate you as always. AEW's 37th pay-per-view event. Every single one of those shows was main evented by male wrestlers. If 16 months of strong build and a world championship on the line isn't enough to change that, what is? Pretty fair question, to be honest.
It is.
I was
It is.
we had the conversation. Was it last week when we did the
Yeah.
WrestlePurists live? You know, and we was kind of we was kind of on the fence of like, yeah, they probably should main event, but like as the week went on, I was getting stronger and stronger and stronger on it because it was just more, just kind of like they're doing the Hollywood ending in Hollywood for the world title of a 16-month story. All the things that have been lined out in this super chat. For it not to main event when there isn't really a runaway clear main event that had to like, do you know what I mean? It was what ended up being John Moxley versus Copeland, and we'll talk about the match and what we thought about that. But it's like, even if that match ended up being successful and good, it's like going into it, it had nowhere near as much juice,
Right.
or as like.
But even if it did, like, you know, the beauty of wrestling is it isn't real. You know what the guys are going to do in their match, right? So like, you know, Tony and Mariah are going to use glass, going to do all this crazy stuff, and you know, Cope and Mox are going to do that with that finish. Like, even easier to make the decision, right? Like, it's bizarre. After watching the matches, it made even less sense. It was very strange.
Again, to like last week, bro, you were saying, because you wasn't 100% sure if there was a stick.
Right.
And like, when I was like, yeah, they're doing falls count anywhere, and you was like, yeah, double juice, bleed everywhere, do all the spots and everything, and that's a great main event. They did all that, but it just didn't main event. You know, it even had like the perfect closing shot of everything, like the end on the Titantron, the Hollywood ending table not being fully shattered, so it was still like readable. Then bleeding collapsed on top of each other. It would have been a perfect pay-per-view ending, but no. The actual ending to the pay-per-view, like the last shot, wasn't like terrible or anything with Swerve.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, still it's. They had the perfect ending right there, you know. It was historic, it was everything, you know. But the fun with it. But to answer your question, I don't know, bro. But maybe something involving Mercedes. Maybe somebody with the name value of Mercedes is what finally like gets Tony and the guys to be like, okay, we're confident enough in this to be like, okay, slap it at the top of the card, main event, you know. But to your point, when you lay it out like that, it's not exactly looking promising that there is going to be one soon, you know? Like you said, 37 pay-per-view main events. This one with all the build, the world title, it got over. It was super successful. It went viral multiple times. It ticked every box you could possibly ask it to tick, you know? But, you know, we can't win them all, David. Well, we ain't won one yet, but...
Apparently, we cannot even win once. Like, that's generally crazy. Yeah, like, it was already. I thought, like, I watched the match and I already thought it was crazy that they did a main event. But now with you putting everything like this, it's even crazier. Like, it doesn't make any sense, because it's not like you have a world champion that the name is super big and everyone is loving their title reign. You know, it's not like when Swerve was champion, or even like when fucking MJF was champion. Like, I don't know, you know. Like, you have from the worst AEW title reign ever. You know what I mean? Like, it's a point that everyone who's watching, like all the fans, they hate it. And you still choose to main event that over one of the most popular things your company has ever had, men or women. Like, generally, at this point, we might never get it, guys. Like,
yeah, it's looking a bit spooky, you know. But I mean, hopefully soon. Like I said, if I had to bet some money on it, and I had to put I had to choose one person I think will be involved in it, then I guess I'd go with Mercedes. But like that super chat just said, and like I've already said, if you know all those factors can't main event, then you know the Hollywood ending in Hollywood, not you know. Jan Theodore, $2 Canadian, appreciate it as always. Swerve resuscitating Hangman, Ricochet, and now Moxley. Well, we'll have to see how that last one goes.
That's very confident.
Very confident. I was saying it. I do think it's interesting because I do think. Like, do you think the Swerve Moxley 1 month feud or whatever it's going to be. Like, I don't think it will be your typical Death Riders kind of, build to pay-per-view. Because like with Swerve being involved in it,
I don't even know what your typical Death Riders build is anymore, to be honest. So I don't know, but it's
that's the point of that's it. You don't really know what's going on. It's all convoluted. Max is like angry, sick, dark, twisted.
But he's also cowardly heel.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's then also running away from Cope, and then his people are blindly loyal to him, and we don't quite know why. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just so. Yeah. Then obviously people get plugged into that atmosphere, like whether it's Cope, whether it's Jay White, whatever, and you just get this convoluted like mess. So
it will have more
the Swerve
juice.
Thing will be more clear.
Yeah. And even if it isn't more clear, it will have more heat just because people will actually believe Swerve might win, Where I think people do not believe Copeland. I don't think he's going to win, but I think people will believe he should win. I believe he should win. But
you don't think he's winning?
No, not at all. I think Mox is beating all these babyface and they're doing the Derby thing, dude.
Oh my god, the Derby thing. Okay, I'm done with that.
I agree. I'm just
done. No. Come on. If you are in the position that you're gonna be the next champion, they're building a whole fucking storyline around you, and you decide to go climb a mountain that you have a 50-50 chance of dying. You're not locked in enough. You do not deserve to be champion. He does not deserve to be champion. Why would you just leave and then leave your world title scene like shit because they were just building for you and you just decided to fucking leave to train to climb a stupid mountain? You can do this at any time. Lose the title. Go die in the mountain. Who cares? But bro, why would you do this? This is not someone who deserves to be a champion. I'm sorry. For me, him coming back after all of this fucking mess that we had to sit through and watch, this psychological torture. And then he's just gonna come back oopsie guys, sorry, let me win the title now. No, where were you? We were in the shit. Where were you? I don't think that's deserving of being a champion.
All this passion, Joe, from somebody who didn't even have the chance to watch that main event.
Here's the thing. I don't know.
I might go throw Darby out of the mountain myself after watching the main event. I'm sorry. Continue, Joe.
No, you're fine. I could be completely wrong. I don't know. And I think it will be something that's very much debated internally. I think we're confident of that, right? And it's very obviously going to be voices that are very aware that this needs to happen. Until I see it, I don't believe it. But hopefully Swerve wins. I mean, it's a very easy reset, right? He's the guy everyone kind of still wanted to be champion, so.
I'm not. I'd say as of right now, I've got the coward take of I'm kind of 50-50.
Yeah.
Because I do, obviously, I believe for a hot minute now that there's a chance that they'll pivot because obviously this storyline has just not landed the way they've wanted it to. Mm-hmm. As far as Darby goes, I don't actually know what's going on with him. Obviously, he's been wrote off TV, But it's if he's climbing Mount Everest, bro, and he's meant to be back at some point this year to to come back, have a run and win the world title, like a lot of people assume. He needs to get to it, doesn't it? When was the last update about anything Darby was doing regarding? Is there a date set for when he's going to start? Is he even doing it anymore? I honestly think there's a chance that he's not even doing the Everest thing now. I know he said it, but who knows? Nobody knows. He could show up tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. He could show up on Wednesday on Dynamite for all I know, bro. But I honestly would be surprised at this point. Even though I said I'm 50-50 about Swerve and the Mox match at Dynasty, I would be surprised if they do follow through right to the end of this storyline, Joe. We've just okay, Mox is going to beat everybody, and then we put the belt on Darby, because Will Ospreay was talking about the world title in one of the social media promos yesterday. And he's if you're really going to have Mox with the absolute complete lack of momentum that he has at the moment, and you're going to have him beat Swerve and then Will Ospreay as well at some point, that's fucking insane to me, bro.
I think Ospreay's one of the matches, and I think the other one was what they showed us when they cut to the crowd and the box and Joe was up there. I think Moxley beats Joe as well. Yeah, and again, let me be clear. I don't know this. This is just my feeling. I think he's going to beat Samoa Joe, Swerve, and Ospreay, and then drop the belt to Darby Allin. And I think that's stupid and crazy. That's just my gut feeling.
That's just painful. I felt like I was just shot in the chest 3 times. Just
Joe.
Swerve, Ospreay. Oh. What the
Hopefully,
fuck?
I'm wrong. Right? I have no idea.
Them
showing
I
Joe
can't say
was
with confidence
spooky.
that I think you are wrong. Do you know what I'm saying? But
Because why did they show Samoa Joe in the crowd? Like, what was that for? Because remember, they're gonna aren't they going for the trios titles, which is the Death Riders?
oh no, man! But it's if it does go the way that Joe just kind of laid it out, bro, Moxley's chokehold on Khan has to be like insanely tight, bro. You know, like
Yeah.
he must be really trying to keep that man happy, you know, because I think it's very clear. I don't think it's one of those things where you have to be like super finger on the pulse, checking online in cage match and monitoring the crowd noise and stuff to get the idea that this thing just is not working, bro. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Then obviously, then on top of that, he gets all the criticism that that he gets online and stuff as well. But just the core of it, it does not work. You know, regardless of how we pick it apart and criticize it and say it's bad because of X, Y, and Z. It's not getting reactions the way it should be. People aren't invested into it. Like it's not working. it's not working.
Right. And to that point, even if what I just said was the original plan, which again we don't know that, even if it was, I think last night was striking enough that it was like even more apparent than it's ever been that a pivot is needed. I think last night was, you couldn't. It was undeniable, right? It was more so than it's ever been before. It was undeniable last night.
Scary times, bro.
Yeah.
It was scary. It got scary.
You're making me so nervous. Like there's a big part of me, like 90% of me, just telling me to not watch the main event. But I feel like I have to now.
You have to.
I need to understand.
Me and Redacted were telling you in the group chat earlier, Anna.
Yeah.
Look, you have to watch it. It's not just like some standard boring main event. First of all, it's the AEW Revolution 2024 main event. You should watch it anyway. But like, it was like historically bad. Like, it's a piece of history, Anna. You know, like you need to go see it.
Like,
you know,
you're
not getting away with this.
I posted that I had to watch it, and then every single reply was people begging me, like, please do not watch this main event, do not watch this, do not put yourself through this. And then I asked Monty and Redacted, and they were both like, oh no, you have to. And you have to. So I think they hate me, this is what I get for being sick the past 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, that is what you get. C Nation 03199, appreciate you as always. Hashtag let women blade in brackets, especially Liv. Yeah, Liv would definitely be game as fuck to do that sort of shit, bro. Mm-hmm. I think Liv's crazy, bro. Remember when there was like rumors, whispers, whatever you want to call it? I mean, it might have even been a report or something one of the guys said on the podcast. But like, Liv wanted Shayna Baszler to like break her arm in an angle before. She's game as fuck, bro. She's also like a little bit insane, so like But yeah, shout out Liv. She would 100% be happy to run that blade, bro. But obviously there's a time and a place. I think you can't just be like, even like last night, you had 2 bloodbaths, and even that was like kind of, I don't know, it felt like there should have only been like one of those matches on that show, But they both work so well. It's kind of like, what the fuck do I know? It's a weird one.
There's enough on the show that you can kind of space it out too.
Yeah, exactly.
It worked, yeah.
Exactly.
Show was very, very good. We're going to get to that, but it's very fitting that this was the first conversation, because that is part of the, that's part of the conversation today, right?
That's a big conversation, bro. It's like it's like that famous quote that another redacted person from this business, be it for much worse reasons, that wrestlers love to quote, saying that like it always matters, like how you finish the show is what people remember,
Right, yeah.
And it's like, if you end the show with a 30-minute absolute stinker that is being received poorly and no one's into it in the live audience, it's like, that's the feeling people are going to be leaving with, leaving the building with, or leaving the show watching it online like we were, But obviously the main event, it's the main event, you know what I mean? It's the meat and potatoes. It's got to land, man.
Last night was the most extreme example of that I think I've ever seen, because that show was unbelievably good, dude. Like, it was loaded too.
Show.
Like, we were having conversation there. Is this their best pay-per-view ever? So the fact that then by the end of the show it was a whole conversation about the belt and what it just shows you, you know, how important it is to close the show. And again, it doesn't mean the show wasn't great. I think the show was great in spite of the main event. But it is telling, I think, how much that's dominated the conversation.
Even in AEW as well, bro, because I'd say like traditionally, obviously we've kind of moved away from like the pay-per-view kind of model and all the streaming and stuff over like the past decade or even a bit longer than that. But it's like AEW, the way they build their cards is that they build a full card for you as a consumer. You know, you're gonna get 5 to 6. Like, Tony's gonna try and book like 7, 8 good quality matches. You know, whereas if you look at, and this isn't just wrestling either, whether it's boxing, MMA, whatever. When you put together a full pay-per-view card like that isn't usually how you would structure them. Do you know what I mean? No, you build your card off the main event, and then you just kind of put filler and a few prelims. You might want to showcase somebody on the undercard, blah 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 blah. You know, so like obviously your whole event was based around the main event, and boxing to an extent is still like that. You know, but obviously AEW, like I said, Tony Khan, obviously he takes an approach of like, I want to give you a full card of like 3 hours of premium entertainment, you know what I mean? And even with AEW taking that approach to pay-per-views and definitely delivering and having some of the best pay-per-view runs in wrestling history, they still can't avoid the stink it out in the main event, and that's what people are going to be leaving with. Like it's unavoidable, bro. It's completely unavoidable. So
yeah, it's tough. They're also like, they are genuine, and I don't normally do this to one point, but I think for pay-per-views it is true. They are a victim of their own standards in some regard, you know? Like, you expect so much from their pay-per-views. When anything misses, like, even on the air last night, we were questioning the Outrunners match so much. You think about it a little bit, and it's like, dude, that's one match out of the first 8 matches of the show, you know what I'm saying? So they are a victim of their own high standards too, but 100%. Yeah, we'll go match by match here a bit.
100%. Shot on Spurs, $10. Appreciate you as always. If Swerve gets pinned at Dynasty, I need Philly to do a Hell in a Cell 2019, I think that's meant to say. 2019 sequence revolt. Start chanting Triple H's name, CM Punk chants, whatever it takes. This cannot go on for 4 more months. Who would be? It would just be CM Punk again, wouldn't it? I was gonna say, look, who would be what would the chant version of like the WWE CM Punk chants be? But in AEW, you just do CM Punk chants again, wouldn't you? Because it works in the same way, doesn't it?
Philly's kind of lame now, though. They don't really do cool. Like...
Oh, they're all cowards now, these wrestling crowds. Yeah. They're all happy to be there. They all love the head bookers, whether it's Tony or Triple H or Mike. They all love them. They can't do no wrong. No one's turning on bullshit anymore, you know? If AEW fans had any balls, they would have fucking turned on that main event last night, 20 minutes in. But they didn't. So
yeah, the reaction was kind of funny though, because they just sat there everyone else did at home.
It was a great atmosphere, you know.
Yeah.
I never want to watch that. But yeah, they should do CM Punk chants. Honestly, at this point, if there's one thing that we know it's gonna get to Tony, it's that.
Tony would join in. He loves CM Punk. What do you think would rattle Tony?
Feared for his life.
Triple H chants would proper rattle him, I think.
Oh God, don't chant Triple H, man. Look, I agree with everyone to get the belt off. Don't chant Triple H.
Could you
please,
imagine,
God,
though?
Please do anything but that. You could do anything but that. Yeah, do not chant that.
DX chants. Bob Fish chants.
Yeah, that's much better. Do that. Titan Triple H would genuinely be worse. It's like, there's nothing they could do on that show that would deserve that chant, dude. Just don't do it, please. I'm pleading with you, Philly. Don't do it.
Nothing in the history of wrestling could be copy and pasted to get them to deserve to chant Triple H, you know? Alright, Van Jiminator 499. Everyone, myself, certainly WrestlePurists, owe Mariah and Tony a massive, massive apology. People were treating them like they were Nikita Lyons.
Well, hold on.
Who did that?
It's funny.
Didn't I do like a whole speech about doing the opposite?
Huh? Maybe some of the others. I can't speak for the others, but definitely not the 3 on screen right now, brother. The part of the storyline I've been critical. The only part of it I've been critical really was the time Tony was away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought the way that Mariah's reign was booked no Tony involved was done pretty poorly, you know. But you know, obviously we did the show last week where we were saying it should main event, it should this, it should that, and yeah, this wasn't. I don't think last night was anything that made me think, oh man, I was wrong about Mariah May. You know, like it was a great
I was very
match,
fired up
and,
last week. We did that show. I got very fired up in defense of Tony Storm. So I was on the right side of history.
Yeah, man, she's super popular, bro, and it may not be for everyone. Even for me, bro, like the timeless stuff, like a lot of it's not really for me, but so you've got to recognise what's popular and what's working and what people are connecting with, you know what I mean? And Tony's been able to hit that part of it out of the park almost better than anybody in AEW ever has in terms of like a performance aspect, from like a performance point of view, sorry. So, yeah, man. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of people do owe Tony and Mariah an apology, but I think you've got the three wrong.
Yeah, I'm innocent.
WrestlePurists
We're innocent.
here,
We're innocent. We're innocent, folks.
Like
Definitely like Marcus and Rob. Marcus and Rob have been called out by Van Jiminator. Marcus is just more critical of kind of Mariah's performances, really, rather than the actual storyline.
Sure. I saw how he treated me when he joined us. Yeah, I won't forget.
Marcus in the chat, I'm innocent.
Listen. There we go. Marcus is innocent. He's claiming he's innocent anyway. Alright, Broadway Joe, $5. Appreciate it as always. Whoever Swerve is wrestling at All In will cost him in Philly, I imagine. Maybe Cope. Oh God. Oh God. Oh shit. Weird vibes in that post-show promo between them.
We can't sell for stuff that hasn't happened yet, dude. We just can't. I can't think about
It's just I was just gonna answer kind of like imagine maybe Cope. It's like, well, it's just kind of
I think Cope will work with Jay White is what I think they're gonna do.
I think there's a chance that he wins, so like this is kind of a weird super chat for me, do you know what I mean? In the sense of like,
well, there you go, let's be optimistic. He's winning. Let's be honest, by the time the show rolls around, no one's going to remember us doing this on the Revolution recap. So let's just say he's winning. Let's roll with it. We're in. Change my mind.
Dragon Master Adam, £5. Appreciate it as always. Can we talk about the freak of nature that is Kenny Omega? 2 of his first 3 matches being 5 stars, and some of the best selling I've ever seen. Yeah, Kenny's phenomenal, bro. It's nothing new.
He's like one of the best of all time. What can we say about it?
I agree.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you said, can we talk about it? So we're going to talk about it, bro. Like, you ain't got to worry about that. It's Kenny Omega, you know what I mean? It's Kenny Omega having one of the highlight matches on one of AEW's
I feel like the whole
shows, you know?
wrestling world shifts when Kenny's wrestling, you know? It's not just about like AEW gets better. Like everything just gets better immediately when he's active, which is insane.
I definitely do feel better about wrestling when he's around. I can't lie.
Mm-hmm.
So, he does have that effect. Nate 355 999. Appreciate it. I honestly think Swerve has legitimate mainstream star potential. Yeah, the potential's definitely there, bro. Him main event in the first American Stadium AEW pay-per-view and second straight All In could be a great business decision. Yeah,
I
definitely,
agree.
man. A lot of potential in Swerve that I think still untapped, even though he's already won the world title. He's been a top guy. He's been established as a top guy, and he could potentially be about to win his second world title. Much like the first half of his super chat says, I do think there is some untapped potential in him being a mainstream like crossover, not full on crossover. You know, I feel like we kind of get carried away with that when we talk about some wrestlers sometimes, but there is definitely some potential there for him to have like some more like just keep building clout, bro. Just because you can see that Swerve tries to manufacture some of it himself, like his celebrity guests and stuff like that, the people he hangs around with and stuff like that, and he's making sure that he's on socials and that sort of shit. So like if Tony could really get behind that, throw some money at it, you know, get like some proper A-list rappers there and shit, you know what I mean, and that sort of stuff, and celebrities and different endorsements, like even though you know, we're in the 2020s now. It's been a long time since he was in his peak, but like the stuff with Rick Ross, bro. Think how viral and shit that went. Like Rick Ross is a big name. Like I said, we're in the 2020s now, and he's not in his peak. He's still a huge name, but and he's so memeable and shit, you know. And that's exactly what happened. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they should get. How have they not got Rick Ross back? Speaking of him, do you know? Because that's what everybody was saying at the time. Everyone was saying at the time, they gotta get him in again. He's so funny. Blah blah blah. Accusations, you know, and all that shit that he was on. I've still got that clip of him hitting. Who does he hit with the knee, bro?
That's very funny.
In the the backstage angle when he hits the knee and he's like, ah. Oh, Rick Rose, you know. But yeah, bro, I do think there's untapped potential with Swerve in terms of his star power. Vernacular 499, appreciate it. I don't know how anyone watches last night and doesn't think Ospreay is the best on the planet. The Spanish fly off the cage was insanity. Probably the best athlete.
That spot was insane, dude. Like, bonkers, especially after the match they'd had. That's the craziest part about it. They've already done
I've got some old man takes about that match. Let me tell you.
I have some too, but I still thought it was sick. You know? Yeah, we'll get into it.
So Isaac Newton, $2 appreciated. They massacred my boy Monty. Sorry to hear that, bro. You know, praying for you. Alright, let's get into it, man. Let's go through this match by match like we promised. We're gonna do it in not record time. We're gonna take our time with it. You know, but we're gonna be efficient. So okay, AEW Revolution, really good crowd, bro. They were in it's called the Crypto.com arena now, isn't it? You know, it's got one of those woke names, but they're in California. You know. Like I said, big crowd. I think it was like 12,000 in the end, which is one of their biggest crowds in a hot minute, I think, bro. So really great crowd, really great turnout. AEW Revolution has been their best pay-per-view. You could argue like maybe like 3 years in a row now if you count in last night, if it holds up, you know. But yeah, AEW Revolution 2025, how are we kicking off? Gonna skip over 0 hour. Over 0 hour, you know. Although, you know, I do like the Costco guys. Big Boom, AJ. Love Justice, love the Rizzler. You know, they all pop me. It's good to see them. But, you know, we don't really need to break it down for you, do we? Anyway, opening the pay-per-view was MJF versus Hangman Adam Page. I thought this was a good match, man. I thought it was a really strong opener. MJF did some good heel stalling throughout this, which I liked. Generally a good performance from him. Some parts of his offense that I wasn't. I'd say that kind of hurts me a little bit because he's having this good heel performance and he's doing stalling and stuff. And there was this, do you remember the spot in the middle, Joe and Anna, where like he like reverses him into the corner and then like he puts him upside down, hits him with the super kick, and then like, do you know what I mean? He does like an indie flurry of moves, you know. And he's like, you're a heel, man, and you're doing all the stalling and stuff, and then you just break into that, and it's just kind of like it's almost like he doesn't know what he wants to do. Do you know what I mean? He's like, do you want to be the moves guy or do you want to be like the play on the psychology side of it as a heel, blah blah blah? Or because it's hard. I think it's one of those things that's actually quite hard to mix if you're gonna be a heel the way that MJF kind of like cowers around and stalls and blah blah blah. You know. But then there's other parts of his offense that you would class as kind of like more modern or whatever you want to call, more indie, woke, whatever the fuck, you know. What I like I think that powerbomb onto the knee is fucking awesome that he does. I love that powerbomb on the knee that he does, you know. But like I said, when it comes to kind of like the sequence stuff and shit, it does take me out a little bit. But anyway, I wasn't super a fan of like the melodramatic 30-second crash out he had towards the end where he was like, why him, why not me, blah 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 blah. I think that would have worked better as part of like an angle, not in the middle of a match. Hangman was obviously as good as always. Nothing particularly like out of the wild, ordinary or spectacular, but obviously it's Hangman Adam Page, but you know you're going to get a good performance, a good match from him, especially when he's got someone decent across the ring from him like MJF. So good match. Hulbert, what's your thoughts?
I really like this a lot. Very, very strong opener. What I was most impressive about it, because from how many singles matches were ahead, is that I thought they avoided the temptation of going complete back and forth. Yeah. And instead, they kind of made a point about where Hangman's at, in that the way they presented this was that Max couldn't hang. Like, Hangman beat him up, man. He's finished in the first 10 minutes of the match. Max survived his foot on the ropes, got increasingly desperate to try and kind of prove the people wrong and who they'd chosen. and put him over big time, clean in the middle, looking up at the lights as we cut to the next match. So this was not only a very, very good opener, but I actually thought was very refreshing in how, like, emphatically it said something. And people talk a lot about, the give and take, putting guys over and all that stuff. Max has not lost a lot on pay-per-view. So him losing this way, boom, like, that did a lot for Hangman, I thought, in terms of, for all of Hangman's achieved, so often, I mean, look at the follow-up to the Chicago Street Fight, right? Sorry, a cage match. Lost those 2 matches J1. It was like, damn, felt like you're back to square one. This was emphatic in telling you that he is every bit what the audience thinks he is, which I thought was awesome. So, very, very, fond of the match. And I thought from a booking point of view, it was bold and refreshing. I like this a lot.
Yeah, I like how you bring up the point of like how emphatically MJF put Hangman over, because he did, bro. And all those things that you just said about what it means to Hangman and how he's positioned is very important. How he's seen by the audience is very important, because, like you said, MJF don't really do that many jobs regularly. He's not beaten very often. He's very much a protected wrestler, protected asset, as he should be as well. And Hangman killed him, bro. He was out. He knocked him out cold, bro. Like, MJF did not move. Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly,
He didn't roll out the ring saying this is bullshit or anything like that, or moaning at the crowd or trying to work or anything. Like, bro, he did not move. Hangman hit him with that angel's wings, which was fucking brutal.
That was crazy, yeah.
And then he nails him with the buckshot, and MJF does not move for the rest of the time he's on screen, bro. He's out cold. He's dead. But yeah, good shit. Anna, what did you make of the opener?
I really, really liked it. I mean, when MJF is locked in, he is great, and like Hangman, he is always great. And when he's in like being the main character and being like that main person that connects with the audience, there's no way that it would go wrong. And I think it was just a great match. They had a lot of fun sequences in the middle. The whole sequence from the moonsault from the barricade until like the pile driver on the chair, like all on the outside. That was so good. And I just liked the whole thing that MJF has, that when a match starts getting like too much and he cannot put the other person down, he just starts like crying and he starts like having a mental breakdown in the middle of the ring, and he's just screaming at Hangman like, why you and not me? I feel like it was very well balanced, because it could have been very over dramatic and too much of a cinema kind of match to put this storyline over. Or it could have just been like them hitting each other. I feel like they balanced it out really well, and it was just a really good match in the end. Like, I just belt Hangman up again. I feel like it's time.
So every time Hangman gets any sort of momentum, that's what immediately a very decent sort of portion of the AEW audience is calling for. Get the belt on him, get him in the world title scene right now. But yeah, man, you could. We're going back babyface. We're doing those things. He still has an edge to him. I do think he will soften a little bit though, as they try and kind of like solidify him more as a babyface, because obviously he hasn't really had like it's been like a gradual thing, hasn't it? And obviously I know the Christopher Daniels stuff was kind of like a turning point, but still it wasn't quite like like a black and white turn, what he's done. Like I said, he's still kind of got a bit of edge. I think he's still got some kind of like redeeming to do. So we'll kind of see how that plays out. There is always a part of me that feels like Hangman Adam Page as a heel, I honestly think is like one of AEW's biggest fumbles. Like, I think it's a bigger fumble than a lot of like the talent that people say AEW have fumbled. And it's just a certain run of one of the wrestlers that has generally been booked pretty well, But yeah, I was having all kinds of like ideas of like where that may go with Hangman as a heel, and like, this vicious heel in the company at the moment, and blah blah blah. It seems like he almost could have been in the position that Mox is in now. Do you know what I mean?
For sure,
as the top guy, world champion heel that's like fucking killing everyone, to the point where everyone's thinking like, oh no, who's gonna save AEW or save us from this fucking lunatic that burns people's houses down and fucking stabs people or whatever the fuck else, injects people with needles and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, and obviously that's kind of obviously it fizzled out, and now we're going on kind of like a redemption arc, I guess. But still, obviously it's one of those things where like, because Adam Hangman's so good, and as a babyface he works so good, and what they've done with him as a babyface and this MJF stuff has been so good, it's kind of like, you know, you don't really want to like bring it up too much, like, oh, they fumbled this big, but because they're still doing something good. If that makes sense, like it's
Yeah, it'll be interesting what it looks like when it's not opposite Max, because obviously Max is such a like extreme heel that it's you're kind of babyface by default, right? He's so over the top as a heel, so yeah, it'll be interesting.
So yeah, Max MJF versus Hangman, good opener. Hangman getting the win, big emphatic win as well. All right, next up, Mercedes Moné versus Momo Watanabe for the TBS Championship. Good match again. Mercedes is really finding her flow these days. On form, no rust, none of that bullshit, nada. Just give her, or let her choose what she wants to do, and if it's the right thing, you'll get magic, bro. It's simple as that, because she's locked in again now. This was actually really physical as well. I know it's kind of part of Momo's game, but like Mercedes was out there taking it, bro. You know. There was a point where Mercedes is hung upside down in the corner and Momo starts kicking her. And it's almost like one of those things where you can almost see it on Mercedes' face. Like, that's the moment where she realised what she's got herself in for. You know? Momo's just kicking the shit out of her. And, yeah, it was, like I said, it was a really good match, really physical. There was a very unfortunate 30 seconds or so towards the end. It all very much happened in, like I said, in like 20, 30 seconds, where Momo's kicking Mercedes on the ground, and I think the second of 3 kicks like catches her like in the chin / neck or something. Mercedes reacts immediately. Momo kind of tries to check on her without making it too obvious, and then you know, she hits her with another kick again. Then Momo gets up to the top rope. She goes to hit a move, lands awkwardly on her ankle. Looks like she fucks her ankle, and then they go pretty much straight into the finish. So that was a really unfortunate 30 seconds or so for, you know, it didn't like make the match fall apart or anything, but obviously, you know, 2 people potentially getting hurt is just super unfortunate, you know. But yeah, apparently Mercedes has got like a bruised larynx. I think it was.
I bet, yeah.
Mercedes apparently got a bruised
looking.
larynx, and Momo was reportedly helped pretty significantly to the back, so I think her ankle is actually fucked. So,
Shit.
Unfortunate news coming out of it, but a great match. Anna, what did you think of it?
I didn't know any of that. Now I'm yes, I love Momo so much. Like when they had their first match, I remember saying, I think it was on Worldwide, I remember saying that I felt like they had more to give. Like, and I really liked the match. Of like up to that point on Mercedes, like since she came back, it was the best match she had up to that point. Now she had like better matches, of course, like Chris and everything, but up to that point, it was like the best match she had. And I really liked it, and I felt like the whole production in New Japan didn't really do justice to it. You know, they really filmed like with one phone. It feels like it's just like awful, but they had good chemistry. Mercedes, she really never missed with the Joshis. I feel like she, maybe because she grew up watching them or because she trained with them a lot, it just feels like her style and the way she wrestles meshes so perfectly with Joshi wrestlers. So I always think it's good fun when she had like matches with the Stardom girls. And Momo, she is great. Like Momo, we've been saying for years, it is insane that she has never been a world champion in Stardom when she has been consistently one of the best wrestlers in the roster for years now. So it's just, yeah, I was so happy that the crowd was behind her and the crowd was hot for this match, because usually in Mercedes match, sometimes they get very cold, but they were like actually chanting for Momo and everything. And I think it was really good. They had good chemistry. Yeah, I was very happy with that for sure.
Yeah, it did.
I hope Taro Okada, you fucking criminal, that you were watching that. Belt Momo up. Enough is enough.
Hopefully. Well, hopefully she's not too hurt, because, like I said, apparently she was helped to the back pretty significantly and didn't look like she could walk. So, hopefully her ankle's not too, too damaged. But yeah, Joe, really physical one, good match. What did you think of it though?
Yeah, I really liked it. Won the people over, right? Like they struggled for heat a little bit early, and you could tell their rhythm wasn't quite there at the very start. Like a little bit of hesitation, and then just through sheer physicality and aggression, to be honest with you, they won the people over. Not only did they win the people over in terms of getting them into the match, Momo actually got like dueling chants, which was awesome. And that's, to me, in some ways, matches like that are more impressive, where you see the crowd get into it, get hooked, and then by the finish they really cared. And the deeper they got in the match, the better it got. I thought it kind of snapped into motion when she did the, like Whiplash Meteora she did through the ropes. Sweet. And that from that point, you kind of see, they kind of clicked, and Mercedes, I thought settled down, and then Momo started kicking very, very violently. It was sweet, man. I don't know. I'm intrigued. Like, I'd like to watch them one after another, their matches, because I thought they were very different, right? Because Mercedes worked as a babyface in the prior match, and this time it was more of a blurred kind of dynamic. But sweet match for sure. Very, very good.
Yeah, good shit, man. Well, let's see. Who do we think's next for Mercedes? Any guesses?
I have no idea.
Obviously, Billy was watching in the she was like up in the boxes, you know, and she had a notepad out. They they showed her on screen for like 2 seconds. I think that's kind of like how they should do it, you know, like. You know, like in WWE, somebody's backstage watching the match, like they show it you like 2 or 3 times. Or it's like, I'll never forget like that one time in AEW, like there was a big main event on, and MJF was watching in the crowd, and they kept cutting to him, kept cutting to him. Whereas, and they did this in the main event with the Ops as well. But it's just like, if someone's watching the match, like me as a viewer, I don't need to see them watching the match, bro. Do you know what I mean? You can just show them at the end for 2 seconds and just let me know that they were watching, if that makes sense. Like, I don't need to see them watching the match all again
for
and
sure,
again and again and again and again. So yeah, Billy starts with watching, taking notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For Mercedes, I'm just very sad that I don't think we're gonna get to have the Tam Nakano match before she retires, because it's kind of like walking for her retirement, towards her retirement. Yeah, Saya is not retiring.
Yeah, no, but she's a heel. She can just lie, you know.
Like, actually, I'm not retiring.
She goes back to her old gimmick.
We do not need. I'm so sorry. We do not need Tam to be world champion again right when Saya's like picking up steam. You know, like we were good. We're good. 5-star, big 5-star Saya Kamitani. By the way,
you underestimate.
Big 5-star Saya Kamitani.
You underestimate the political power of Tam Nakano. You know.
I just hope that they can, like, if that is really what it's going for, that they're really like going for her retirement, if she's really planning on just like leaving, starting a family or whatever she said that she wanted to do, then I hope that they can try to fit a Mercedes match, because that's like the one sort of match that I really, really wanted to see for her, that I think would be just absolutely amazing. Their styles would go really well together, but we'll see how that goes.
We'll see. But yeah, Mercedes versus Momo. Obviously, Mercedes retained, and we'll see what's next. Okay, Mercedes, Momo. Okada versus Brody King is what I've got on third for the Continental title. I believe that's right. Alright, Okada versus Brody King. This was alright. You know. But, yeah, man, Okada's, you know.
Was this after Ricochet or before? It doesn't matter. We'll review this, but I'm trying to think. I'm getting confused in the order now. Either way, I really liked this. And this may be the first time in the history of my life that I'm the high man on an Okada match. I think this is a historic moment for me. Like, it didn't have a ton of heat, but I thought Okada just kind of bumping and showcasing Brody's offense, who really worked hard. My God, Brody was kicking ass. I actually thought this was like really good. Right, but I don't know. This worked for me. The fact that he took most of it popped me.
He had to. Look, it worked for me in the sense of, like, I thought it was a decent match. Like, it was all right, you know. But it's just like, you go into it. It's like, it's Okada versus Brody King, and I think with every Okada like big/big-ish match, you kind of like, you're hoping that he kind of wakes up for it, you know. And it's like, I don't think he slipped back into the form of, like, I think a few months ago, like pre-Continental Classic and the first 1 or 2 matches of the Continental Classic up until he faced Mark Briscoe, where, like, I think I remember, like, I fully crashed out about his level of effort on one of the shows, you know. I don't think it's got to that level again, but, like, there is still kind of like that clear. My point is that Brody King, I thought Brody King looked really good in this. I thought it almost looked like it clicked for him that he had to, like, basically will this into being what it was, you know, making it really physical, making sure his offense looks a certain way, and just kind of fucking chopping Okada to wake him up and all like these kind of things, you know. And we did end up getting a decent match out of it, but I do think, you know, it's Okada, man.
Yeah, but I thought this was the right match for this show, though, man. This show didn't need a 20-minute Okada. This was, I think, much more efficient. Brody came out of this more over than he entered it. Like, I don't know. I think on this show was what this show needed, a long Okada match. Like, I think this was perfect for this show.
But that's not what I'm saying.
So what would you prefer
I'm
the
not
match to have
saying,
been?
they should have gone 25 minutes and done like the whole New Japan 10-minute closing
Right.
stretch where Okada's like the man, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
There's just kind of, I don't want to say urgency because I'm not saying that Okada should work with urgency or anything like that, but there's just kind of like, I just feel like with Okada, you can just tell when he's in the mood or not. I think it becomes,
For sure.
I think over his time in AEW, he also becomes like very clear very early into a match when he's up to it or not. And like I said, the match that we ended up getting, like, yeah, on this show, Joe, I would agree that like we don't need Okada going 20 minutes and trying to have an epic with Brody King. It don't really make sense in the context of this show, you know. But at the same time, I did also feel kind of like this match was literally just Brody willing it to be to be as decent as it was. And if Brody didn't put that little extra 10% in that I felt he was putting in to make this work, it may not have worked. Do you know what I'm saying?
I get you, yeah.
So that's where I'm kind of like coming from. I'm not saying Okada should have had an epic, and do you know what I mean? Okada has to like go all out every single match and empty the tank and empty all of his offense and his reversals and his counters and his great finishes, you know. But more just like kind of a middle ground, you know.
For sure. I just thought it worked. Brody taking most of the match, I thought was to the benefit of the match. And I thought Okada took a pretty big beating, if nothing else. So, I don't know, I was happy with this.
Didn't have much choice. He was trying to take off the chops on his arms, bro.
Of course he has a choice. He could have cut Brody off whenever he wanted and grabbed the hold. He didn't do that. He sold for most of the match. I thought he was actually very giving here. Legit. And I'm not an Okada. I mean, fuck. this is a new spot for me, but I thought he was good here, legitimately.
Yeah, I thought he was alright.
It's fine.
He showed up.
Yeah, he did his job.
It's also it's like, bro, it's fucking Okada. Do you know what I'm saying? Like at the same time, like to your point again, to reiterate, like they don't need to have like a 20-minute classic. But it's like, bro, this is fucking Okada. This is someone that some people would tell you is the greatest wrestler ever. Like we've got friends that would say that, you know. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like
you can't watch every match through that lens, though. You know, like
you can't.
Yeah, he's just getting the
bro, when it's
bag,
Bryan Danielson, you can.
I don't do that. Oh,
Yeah, we do. Bro, if Bryan Danielson has like an 8-minute match on a fucking pay-per-view,
yeah,
he's getting pretty much as good of an 8 minutes out of it as you can, regardless of the fucking opponent. Do you know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
So it's like,
man.
like with Bryan, it's like even if it like say if he doesn't have to have like the epic or anything like that, but it's just like the way that he would adjust and adapt to having these different variety of different match lengths and different opponents and stuff like that is why we call him one of the greatest, arguably the greatest in-ring work of all time, you know? It's just like when people say that about an Okada and the reputation that he's coming into AEW with, it's like we've not seen that versatility and stuff from him, I don't think. You know?
I thought this was versatility, but we can agree to disagree. It's fine. I like this match.
Yeah, you can, bro. Again, it's like you keep framing it like I'm saying it was this terrible match.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying. I thought it showed versatility.
When you say, listen, I ain't gonna do it. Yeah, I liked it. That makes
Bro,
it
I'm
look
just
like
trying
I
to do
hated
wrestling
it.
No, it's not that. I'm trying to do wrestling conversation. I'm my bad. Let's move on.
See.
I'm trying to move the show on, bro. We have half an hour. We're going very slow. All I'm saying is, I thought the match was good, and you keep going back, and I'm saying it was good. Let's just go forward. That's all I'm saying. I ain't saying you were wrong. You're an arsehole. I'm saying I like the match. Let's go forward. Fuck. Anna hasn't even given a review of it. Fuck.
So we can't move on, can we? This is what I'm saying.
We can. I just tried.
You highlight, but Anna's not said anything about it.
Yes, because my point was, when I say I agree to disagree, that means let's move on. That doesn't mean tell me I'm not disagreeing. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's move on. It ain't that deep. It was a 3 1/4 on pape. It's okay. We've got shit to talk about tonight, man. Fuck.
Joe, crashing out, Joe.
I don't even like Okada that much. I'm trying my best here, you know?
Bro, why are you crashing out?
Because I don't get what's happening here. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm oblivious.
Joe, calm down a sec, yeah.
Okay, I'm trying.
Okay, we was going back and forth talking about the match. Yeah?
Yes.
Anna's still not talking about it. We'll get to it. Anna's
I feel like my profile picture just made this whole situation so much better. Because that's exactly how I was looking at my computer right now. Like I said, I think it was an okay match. It was a good match. Brody King is very cool. That's all I'm gonna say. I will not touch on the name of Okada. I think we can move on.
Yeah, definitely. I was just like I said.
I do not dare.
We're good. Okay, so Okada and Brody King. Okada, of course, retains, and we'll see what's next for him. Obviously, Kenny Omega has now got the international title. Some people think they might do total versus total down the line, but yeah, man, we'll see what actually happens in the immediate future. Hurt Syndicate versus the Outrunners for the tag titles. Hurt Syndicate obviously won. This was not a full-on squash, more of like a glorified squash. Like they kind of went back and forth a little bit.
It should have been a full-on squash. What the fuck did I watch?
Yeah, so no one really needed this. It was kind of as disappointed as a lot of people kind of expected it to be honest. The big disappointment coming out of this for me though wasn't just that the match was like a nothing that nobody could give a shit about. It was like no books or nothing, bro. We're in Cali. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people kind of speculating about the books. They've just finished up in New Japan and stuff. It's like this feels like this would have been a good opportunity for them to just come and hit a few poses and shit, you know, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. So, I don't think we need to break down Hurt Syndicate versus the Outrunners. It was pretty bad waste of time.
Outrunners.
All right, Hollywood ending. Mariah May versus Toni Storm for the women's world title. Toni Storm getting the win, and we had JR on the call for this as well. And wow, you know, this was just under 13 minutes, and for me, this was the match of the night. To be honest, they really captured like a. I don't know, man. They went through a lot of different motions in 13 minutes. You know, it was almost like it genuinely. They took you for a ride, bro. You know, and obviously, like we could talk about the different spots and the fucking Tony's blade job. You know, like I said it yesterday, bro. But I think Tony might be the best bleeder in AEW. You know, whether it's accidental or not. Because you see the clip that someone after Tony Blade, she kind of like sits up and she's like, "Fuck." She's like, well, maybe she didn't need to gig that far in, you know. But it was an incredible incredible visuals throughout this, and loads of crazy spots. Obviously, double juice, and I know it's very memorable, wasn't it, Joe?
It was an instant classic. I think in the States, this is my early match of the year. Front runner. I thought this was unbelievable, like genuinely powerful a piece of business. Obviously delivered on the violence, but it also had like enough of a theatrical flair, more than enough to be honest, to suit what the build was, which is a really hard thing to balance. And I thought they did it brilliantly. One of those matches that I think people will be talking about for a very long time, and as a result of how great the match was, I think the feud is secure in its kind of the way it will be remembered. I think it's a very significant thing. And I do, I mean, we spoke about where it should have been on the show and all that stuff. But just putting that aside, for what they had to do here, this was perfection. And the fact that it was only 13 minutes is mind-blowing, to be honest with you. Unbelievable match. Classic.
They got a lot in there. Anna, I think this was the last match you watched, wasn't it?
No, the last match I watched was Kenny and Takeshita.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but for this match, I feel like I've been saying it. For the first match, I said this. For the second match, I said this. That I kept going. I feel like they still haven't reached the high that they reached with the storyline, and it felt like the last two matches. Yeah, they were good matches, but they were not matches that were on the same level of the whole story that they built for a year. You know what I mean? It just felt like something was still lacking, something was still missing to reach, like, to make justice, you know, to do justice. Wait, English. To like do what is the correct sentence that I'm thinking of?
You
They
call
did
it to do it justice.
You're fine, yeah. You're right.
fine.
To do justice, yeah. Okay, to do justice with the storyline, and I feel like this match finally did it. You know, it closed it out perfectly. Even if we had a little middle part there that it was a bit like, oh, I don't know what's going on here. It still feel like the whole thing now, looking back from beginning to end, like what a storyline, what a perfect. I think it was just the perfect ending. Like this, the whole thing that we were talking about, like this not being the main event, and I haven't even watched the main event yet. Okay, but this not being the main event is just insane. Like it makes absolutely no sense, and the fact that it was one of the shortest matches in the entire card. It was 13 minutes, and they managed to have like a match that amazing. It's crazy to me. Like it was amazing work, amazing job. Both of them, they deserve all the praise. But yeah, that bleeding from Tony was crazy. Like she was, you could see, yeah, that was the big match. But yeah, but I mean, I hope they're
the
okay.
ring, the ramp,
was,
everything was just covered in Tony's blood.
I love,
after
I
a
love
couple
women's
minutes.
wrestling. I love it.
It's one of those things as well. Like to talk about Tony's blood, like it's not for everybody, bro. You know, I don't think I'm speaking to anybody in our audience when I say that either. You know, I think everyone who's watching this probably jumping up and down for it as much as us three were, you know. But there was also the element of, like, you know, it's not for everybody, you know. And I've seen, like, a few people say it's not for them in a very, like, kind of chill manner and still, like, get jumped on for it. Then there's the other side of it where people, like, talk about, like, women blading like it's some absolute travesty and stuff. And it's, like, they go too far with it as well. So it's always, like, you're always going to get, like, weird, like, discourse and conversations coming out of a match like this. But I think for us, like the people watching this stream, and for us three on screen right now, like it was historic, bro. It was the most memorable match on the card by far for me.
I think so.
And
yeah.
when you think of the high quality of the matches on this card, it's very impressive. Like I already said, match of the night. Almost hard to put into words, like what they did in 13 minutes, bro. You know, but. Yeah, I'm kind of jumping back a bit because Swerve versus Ricochet, number one contenders match. Also, obviously, a lot of story around Prince Nana's robe, the embassy robe. You know, very important. Ricochet had been stealing that. Nana gives Swerve the ultimatum: if he can't get his robe back, you don't know if he can do this anymore. So there was a little bit of depth going into this as well. You know, and obviously that played out throughout the match, and I thought that had a really good match, man. There was some fucking horrifying spots, bro. Horrifying. Like, Swerve took 2 bumps on his head because there was the poison rhino on the apron, which he took like a really nasty looking bump from.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they go outside and like Swerve hits Ricochet with the vertebrae on the table, which looked brutal as well because the table did not budge one little bit, you know. So that was quite a nasty bump as well. And then obviously, like the big bump that Swerve sort of everyone was like, "Oh shit, is he okay?" It was the Death Valley Driver on the outside, where Ricochet like kind of half catches a tope, didn't quite catch it as he intended to, as you could tell, which ended up with Swerve having to take the move in kind of like a weird position, and basically he just landed on his head again. So that was scary, bro. But in the end, it just ended up adding to the match. You know, because obviously he was okay, you know, when he finished the match and stuff. So, you know, they had a really good one. Prince Nana stormed, like, there was an altercation between like Prince Nana and Swerve, where Swerve kind of like shoved Nana, and Nana got really offended by this, and he stormed off, and he was flipping off Swerve on the fucking ramp and shit, bro. He was like, "I'm out of here, safe." Went in the back, and yes, obviously Swerve wasn't very happy about that, and eventually Nana comes back. He takes the robe off the turnbuckle, and you know that distracts Ricochet, and obviously that was just before the Death Valley Driver spot that I just mentioned, and yeah, man, Swerve gets the win. House call, big pressure, and 2 house calls, big pressure, and he gets the win, and Swerve is now the number 1 contender. Ricochet looked good again. Having a good run now, isn't he, Joel?
He is. I think he's kind of blown away even the most optimistic expectation. I think that people expected to be like a character guy as a heel, you know? So he's doing awesome. The match was really good. It got a little cute for me in the finishing run. Like, you know, when it got like set piece heavy and Nana came back, and I thought it got a little cute. But the action was great. I agree with you. Presuming everyone's okay, those scary bumps kind of gave it a little bit of a danger too, which I think it needed for the build. Weirdly enough, it gave it an edge that maybe wasn't going to be there otherwise. So it worked out in the match's favor if everyone made it okay. But it was a really good match. I actually think, and I think it's a weird me thing, but I think I actually preferred the TV match just because it was more direct. But it was very, very good. And Swerve continually impresses me, just like how solidified he feels as a tippy top guy there. Like, it just, every time you see him on a big show, it feels like a big deal when he wrestles. So, very good match.
Anna?
It was really fun. I really love Evil Ricochet. I feel like he found like his place and his niche and his character, and it's kind of crazy that they ever used him like this. I didn't think he could be he could be good in this role when he first started, but he really grew into it. So I'm curious to see how it's gonna go now without the rivalry with Swerve. Like, what can I even say about Swerve, bro? It's Swerve. I feel like all of the compliments that I had for Swerve, like, you can watch any random worldwide since he won the title, and I'm gonna be saying the same things like over and over again. It's just what a wrestler, Like, he's just one of those people like Hangman for me that just gets it. So always happy to see that, and very fun match.
Good shit. Yeah, it was a good match. Obviously, Swerve, number one contender, as good as expected, and yeah, good shit, good direction. Wonder what's next for Ricochet, because as we've all just pointed out, he's having a good run, got some good momentum at the moment. Obviously, just mixing it up with one of AEW's top guys in Swerve, so they should have something pretty significant planned for him. Alright, so back on track now. The Hollywood ending. Obviously, that was amazing. How do you follow that? You follow it with Kenny Omega. That's how you follow that. Kenny Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita for the international title. I like Kenny's gear, man. He looked cool. Apparently, it was like some anime nod or some shit like that. I'm not the guy for that stuff, so I don't know. I just thought the gear looked cool as it was, without knowing the lore of it. But yeah, this is a really good match. Kenny sold a lot. Takeshita also has like the offense and the ring presence to kind of fill out the space that Kenny was giving him in this match. So it worked in that sense. There's some brutal spots as well when Takeshita was kind of like working over the abs and the midsection, because that table spot when the table's on his side and Takeshita just drops him on it. That looked amazing. I honestly thought Don Callis had a pretty decent performance in this. In terms of like, not so much on commentary, but his involvement in the match. It wasn't too invasive, but he was there. His presence was felt, but he wasn't too invasive. And I do think obviously sometimes Don can be pretty invasive, But I thought his usage here was pretty good. And yeah, Kenny's still got that explosiveness, bro. Like, there was a spot in this where I think like Kenny follows Takeshita into the ropes because Takeshita's like lining him up for a lariat or something, and Kenny jumps up and nails him with a V-trigger. He just explodes up, knees him in the... Bro, he's still got that explosiveness, even though he's like 40 now, Kenny. And obviously all the injuries and the diverticulitis and blah, 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 but he's still got some of those... still got some magic when it comes to, like I said, those fast twitch fibers, Joe,
Yes, sir.
But, there was that... Kenny did another amazing kick out at one. I think he might be the best at doing this in the business, to be honest. Because when he did it versus Ospreay at that Forbidden Door show, it kicked off a trend of like loads of wrestlers doing it in big matches. I don't know if anyone else clocked that, but it did. But like, it almost like Kenny did it again like last night, and it was just like he's the best at it. He knows how to time it. He knows when it's the right place to do one of those kickouts at once and just really get the crowd to come up for it. But yeah, Kenny's the man. I love how Kenny always has an idea. Do you know what I mean? He never just kind of goes out there and has a match. Like, all of his matches have like an idea, like a broader idea. Like, he wants to try different things. He's actually an artist. He's one of the few wrestlers that I can happily say is an artist without feeling like a bit of an idiot saying it. Right. Do you know what I mean? Like, because he has clear ideas and motivations, and he's very creative and he's very unique in what he tries to do. So yeah, Kenny's special. Takeshita obviously is amazing, like I said at the start. Kenny got a roll-up win, skin of his teeth. That was what they were going for. Takeshita was outmatching him at every turn. But Kenny, bit of ring IQ, bit of awareness, little Hail Mary roll-up, and he got the win, bro. So, Anna, this was the last match you watched. What did you think of it?
Yes. What can I even say, Monty? Like, come on. Kenny, what a goat. Like, he's one of the best of all time. And, like, the fact that he almost dies and he comes back in the same level, it's insane. Like, have we ever seen a wrestler who just kept coming back and somehow he's just kept the same level for years, so many years consistently? Like, how does he do that? Like, it's not just the physicality, it's not just the athleticism, it's just the way that he works. He's so smart in every single thing that he does when he's in the ring, and that adds so much into the match. And Takeshita, he's just a freak of nature. I'm so sure that there's some god out there, like a wrestling god, that just created him perfectly, like cell by cell, because he's the perfect wrestler. Like, everything about him, there's nothing that you can find a mistake on. It's generally insane. And yeah, they already had matches before that were amazing, but this one, especially the final 10 minutes, I think, for me, were just unbelievable. The V trigger into the Blue Thunderbolt was like, what are we doing here? This is just excellent wrestlers doing what they do best. And I have no words. I'm so happy that Kenny's the champion again. We're getting it back. Bell Collector, let's fucking go. And Takeshita, like, just give him everything. Like, I would not be upset at all if he went to like New Japan for a few months if he's not an AEW, because if he's supposed to win the AWGP, like, I feel like whatever, just give him everything that he wants. Like, what a match.
I honestly think it's like a lot better than the first match.
Yeah.
Where do you find yourself on that, Joe?
It's tough because I was there live, so it's it's like a different memory. I don't know.
You never watch it back?
I don't think so. No, so I'd sometimes, unless it's something I feel really strongly about, I just try and keep the live experience, But
leave the memories alone.
Yeah, because it's just different in it. But I mean, this was excellent. I think that was great too. But this was excellent, and I think such a great example of I think Kenny's biggest detractors are just, it's at this point like what their kind of lead talking point used to be of this idea that he doesn't have range or versatility, which was stupid then, but now seems even funnier because it's like even within these two matches with Takeshita, they're completely different matches. It's almost like he's an all-time great pro wrestler.
Yeah.
His selling was amazing. What was most impressive about this was they were following a classic match, and the crowd definitely had to catch their breath after Tony and Mariah. But they just trusted where they were headed to. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just trusted, we'll take our time, we'll let the people rebuild. And we know if we tell a simple story with the midsection being a target and Kenny kind of hanging in there as the old gunslinger, they will get with it eventually. And I mean, clearly they did. And it was just very impressive watching them work the people like that. Tremendous match. I think Takeshita's maybe his best AEW performance is like an actual heel, I thought. So, very, very good. Probably my second favorite match of the night. Excellent match.
Yeah, very good shit. Very good shit. I think it delivered pretty much as expected in the sense of like quality, because people had very, very high expectations, and these two were more than capable of delivering, and they did. And Kenny is the new international champion, so we'll see what happens from there. Alright, Ospreay versus Cole Fletcher, steel cage match. Ospreay got the win here. Double juice again. Another crazy, like, bloody, violent fucking story ender. Like I said, we mentioned earlier, kind of spaced out pretty well from the Mariah May and Tony Storm one, but still two on the same show. And yeah, they did a lot in this, but like I said, double juice. There was a style clash on thumbtacks. There was a Spanish fly off the top of the cage. There was screwdrivers. There was fucking. They did a lot of shit. A lot of finishes. A lot of kickouts. This was I thought this was honestly a little bit quite excessive, to be honest, and I thought it went quite long as well. But that's not to say that it wasn't like a really good time as well. My old man take that I mentioned earlier was, bro, that Spanish fly off the top of the cage was wildly irresponsible. Like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
wildly irresponsible, bro. Like, Ospreay kind of landed a little bit weirdly, but apparently he's fine. So, you know, that's good news coming out of that. But yeah, man, like that AEW cage, it's so much taller than the WWE ones as well. You know, and I'm not saying just because Cope fucked his ankle off, it means they're just dangerous. You know, it's a fucking huge cage, bro. They did like an awkward looking Spanish fly off it, which ended up looking amazing because of just the fucking danger of it. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, man, that could have easily gone wrong, and it was like, was it really worth it? I don't know. You know, but I'm sure a lot of people would say yes, he is. But I don't know, Joe. Am I old? Am I getting old?
I mean, what you're saying is right. I just wildly irresponsible is kind of implied, right? These guys are lunatics. I mean, so much stuff in this match is dangerous. It's hard to draw the line with fellas like this. They're built different, you know. I thought this match was very good. I thought the first half was incredible. The second half had elements that I popped huge for and elements that I rolled my eyes at, is the best way I could put it. You know, like, I thought the tone of the first half was perfect. The great stuff with Ospreay adjusting to the cage and finding ways to fly with, you know, while still being inside the car was so good. There was some really nice touches. Fletcher's a great heel. Ospreay, obviously, the people are with him, and he's just work is just immaculate. In the second half, it would swing violently in both directions for me, and it was ultimately a little bit too much for me, which is okay. I'm not here to, you know, arrest anyone or anything. It's just it depends on your taste, right? But I still thought it was very, very good, and I certainly, on just sheer spectacle, have a lot of time for it and appreciate it. And I completely understand why for some people that was like match of the night, match of the year, so on and so forth. But I still really enjoyed it for what it was, and at its best, I thought it was spectacular.
Anna didn't see it. I was about to ask her, but yeah, Anna didn't see it.
No.
But yeah, it was still a great match. Yeah, it was still a great match, even if like myself and Joe have both said basically it was a little bit excessive and a little bit long and stuff like that. But it was still great for what they did, you know, and it worked, which is the important thing. You know, people were along for the ride the whole way, and they loved the finish, even though they did about 5 different finishes. Anyway, main event time. Adam Copeland. No, it's not even fucking Adam Copeland anymore, is it? It's just Cope versus John Moxley for the AEW World Title. And the whole build of this match was basically like Cope and, I guess, friends of AEW taking out the Death Riders, so there was no bullshit. There was, in fact, a lot of bullshit. Bro, like 2 minutes into this match, when it was clear that the crowd wasn't going to buy into it, and obviously the following Ospreay versus Fletcher and Double Juice and all the shit that had gone on just before this match. But like, the crowd's clearly like not interested in it. And the funniest thing, bro, it's happened on WWE TV as well on Friday with the Shinsuke match. But it's like, when the commentator brings attention to how uninterested the crowd is and try to make out like it's this heel work when it clearly isn't. It's some of the worst shit in commentary that we see all the time. Bro, Excalibur on this, yeah, like I said, about 2-3 minutes into this match, they're just having some shitty exchange that no one cares about. And Excalibur's like, there's a hush first fell over LA from the anticipation for this match. No, it's not. What are you talking about, bro? But yeah, the atmosphere throughout this match, it was very long, was like hilarious. Just uninterested, and every now and then you would hear like, I call them bored boos, you know, where it's like scattered boos throughout the arena whilst the rest of the arena's like silent, and you just kind of hear every couple of seconds like, oh. Like, and it's just horrible atmosphere for this. God, poor JR, man. Jim Ross's performance in this, spent the first half of this match trying to give it some life. You know, really trying, you could see it, you know. Then just like halfway through, he just gives up and he just relegates to the odd line, just being like, it's gut-wrenching is what this is. You know, like he'll just say some random shit. I as Joe mentioned earlier, the ops were watching. I think this was as bad as it realistically possibly could have been without somebody getting hurt. You know, like obviously it's Copeland and it's Copeland and Mox in it, so it's like they know how to hit their moves and the stuff doesn't look like super sloppy. And Copeland didn't show up like drunk and intoxicated or something insane like that. You know, but it was so boring, and then it had all that bullshit at the end. You know, so like the ref argues with John Moxley. Then, ref argues with John Moxley because Moxley holds onto a hold too long or some shit like that. Moxley then crashes out, goes outside, gets a chair. The ref takes the chair off him, and as he's handing it to the guy on the outside, Copeland gets pushed into him, I think, or Mox gets pushed into him, and the ref takes a bump. This is then followed by literally the worst paradigm shift ever. Ever.
I saw that.
I don't even know why Copeland bumped for it. It was that bad. There's also now 2 chairs in the ring. No, there's also 2 steel chairs in the ring now because Mox has brought in another one. Then Wheeler Yuta strolls down the ramp pretending like he's conflicted because Cope shook his hand on Wednesday, and he's not conflicted because he just nails Cope with a knee. Then Jay White comes out and tries to make a save, deals with Yuta momentarily, tries to nail Mox with the briefcase and completely smokes Edge with the briefcase, bro. That's probably the best spot of the whole match because he fucking smacked him, bro.
He did.
And then Mox makes the cover and we get the slowest ref count, like one of those proper old school championship counts, Joe. You know, like 1,
Right.
2. And then Edge just kicks out, bro. Mox argues with the ref again. Edge hits him with a spear. Edge hits him with a spear again. Edge hits him with a spear a 3rd time. 1, 2. And Christian Cage drags Edge out of the ring. Reveals that it is Christian Cage under a hood. And hits Cope with the clipboard. Cashes in his contract. And now he's part of the match. It's now a 3-way. Hits Cope with a spear. Cope kicks out again. He kicks out again. Then he hits him with a what's he called? Unprettier. I forgot what.
Kill switch.
Kill switch. There we go.
Right.
Yeah, he calls kills. Yeah, Christian calls it.
Used to be
yeah,
Unprettier. Yeah.
Okay, calls it a kill switch now. So he hits him with the kill switch, and then 1, 2. Moxley locks on a bulldog choke onto Christian Cage, and that's it basically. So Cope kicks out of a lot, doesn't get pinned. Christian Cage burns his contract, gets choked out. Mox is still the champion. Celebrates, walks through the crowd with his briefcase, just survived, and then he's confronted by Prince Nana. And then Swerve Strickland comes from the crowd and fucking stomps his ass out, bro.
That was cool at least.
Yeah, it was, man. So. And he cuts a cool little promo to the camera about like AEW's his house and blah 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 blah. You know, so like a cool ending to a terrible main event match. Joe, give us some takes.
Yeah, I don't have a ton to add, to be honest. It sucked, and it's a shame. I actually kind of talked myself into this over-delivering. And I do wonder, there's a part of me that's like, would the first half have just been better off in a different spot on the show? Like, I wonder that, you know? Because you never know, right? I remember thinking they were doomed when Cope did the spear through the ropes thing, and the people were just like... I was like, oh, man. Because that's one of Cope's... That's like his big bomb, right? Like, he hasn't got... You know.
Yeah, 100. Yeah.
So I felt for him on some level, and look, maybe it was their call, whatever. Ultimately, to me, looking at this show format and saying they can follow that was like bonkers to me. Like they had no chance ever. So that's for the first half, which was just dull, and they couldn't match what had come before them. The second piece of it, where it goes into like a late 90s finishing run, and there's all these moving pieces, I thought that was the part that was terrible to me. So the opposite of what I think the audience wants from AEW pay-per-view main events, you know, like it came across like a cartoon almost. It was I just thought that part was honestly the more offensive part to me, especially because the Christian thing almost felt like they were ribbing us, you know. It's like oh shit, there's hope. No, there's not. So yeah, it sucked. The whole thing's kind of a bummer, I think, because as much as everyone's down on Moxley right now, I think it's insane that this is where we're at with him and the audience. I think it's kind of sad.
Yeah, it is, bro.
It is, right?
People
Like,
that gets lost, I think, in people being so
yeah.
disappointed and mad, and even just like enjoying trolling and dunking on what he's doing at the moment. It's like, bro, it's very, very unfortunate, man. Like, this
It's
is
a shame.
John Moxley is AEW's greatest wrestler ever. Do you know what I mean?
He's
So
certainly
it's
in that
like-
conversation. Yeah,
So it's
certainly.
like, for him, this is where he's at now at the start of 2025 in the first quarter. Like, it's brutal, man. You know, so,
It's sad, and it's doing like active damage, and even for Copeland's point of view, like I thought he found a real good niche for himself as like a guy working hard underneath, and this was the worst spot for him. You know, like it exposed all of his limitations. It made the audience kind of resent him on some level. Just a miss all round. I can't believe they closed the show considering what they had up their sleeve, but an unfortunate end to a great pay per view. Sadly.
yeah, no good stuff. I'll do a few super chats and then we'll wrap up. Alright. Final boss for night now. Moxie's hurting himself right now. I don't know if he cares, but where does he go from here? Even when he does lose, feels like a Fed return might save him. Nah, bro. Where does he go from here? Obviously, you know, who knows what happens with the rest of this title run, and then I'm sure he'll take a little bit of time off, and then he'll come back with hopefully some refreshed ideas and stuff. You know what I mean? But
Hopefully.
bro, Fed run is not going to be a thing that, and he doesn't need saving either. Like that's like it's John Moxley, bro. He's having a bad run right now. It's not something where he's like, oh my god, his stock has completely been destroyed and he's over. Like, do you know what I mean? It's still John
I agree.
Moxley.
He is damaged.
He's damaged. It's a bad run, bro. It's a very bad run, and he's
Yeah.
at the top of the card as well, so it's significant. But you know, it's not to the point where it's like, oh, he needs to be saved by a WWE run. You know, it's nowhere near that. He's all heart, $10, appreciate it. It's not Darby's fault that Mox's reign stinks. This is his first real time off in 6 years. I don't know, my eyes are on the Young Bucks. They haven't been a strong TV presence for a long time now, and it's odd. Two things can be true, bro. It's not Darby's fault that Mox's reign's not going well. Obviously not. I don't think anybody was saying that, but it's just more so like, obviously this storyline is built around. You would assume at the start of when they started doing this, Darby getting to the top of the mountain. So I don't know, it's a weird one, bro. And it's also just a weird way of them doing it creatively with booking him to be off and not gaining any momentum, because he was eating losses as well when you know what I mean, like he lost to Claudio twice. Do you know what I mean?
Whole
So it's
thing's
not like-
weird.
That's what I'm saying. So it's not like he was just on the cusp of being the man to save AEW and then it was snatched away from him by getting taken out in an angle. It's like, bro, he was losing before he even fucking got taken off TV, you know?
From Darby's point of view, it's like he wanted to do it last year. And in his head, he may have decided to do it this year. And I presume he has nothing to do with the thing being that he's going to win the belt eventually. So it's a weird one, isn't it? Like, he's told them I'm doing it and they've said, yeah, cool, man, you're winning the belt in July. And it's like, he's still doing it. So to me, it's less Darby and more like all of the process around it. It just feels strange, a strange choice. Very strange.
And Jean-Pierre, $2. Darby Allin, hashtag we good, hashtag Swerve.
We good.
Jean Theodore, $2, appreciate it. How do we will Sari versus Mercedes into existence?
Please, please,
My God.
please.
I'm
Just
sure
on my
I'm
knees
sure
with
if
the
Tony
Mercedes
threw
in front of
I'm sure if Tony threw enough money at Sari, she would come in for some dates or whatever. She's a freelancer, bro. It can't be that. There can't be that much of a barrier. You know?
Sari, she would probably like to like schedule
Exactly.
Mercedes for Sariism, you know. So like I think Tony just has to let her do that.
Yeah, and then obviously there's that way as well of like if Sari wants to book Mercedes for one of her big shows that she does, like that could
Makes sense.
potentially be possible, you know. But you know, Sari is one of the best women's wrestlers in the world, and she was probably the best women's wrestler in the world last year in 2024. So I don't think there would be too many detractors if Tony wants to bring her in, even if it was just for a few shows. And Jean-Pierre, $2. That main event killed the good vibes in the arena. Yeah, definitely, bro. Sucked the life out of it. Jumanji Hunter, $2. I know Rob killed that Mariah versus Tony rating. You know, fuck it, we'll have a look.
What did it get, the Tony Mariah match?
4.5.
Okay. That's still a good round. I gave it the full 5, but
You did go
Still a
4.5, didn't you?
yeah.
You did. Tony Storm versus Mariah May. Rob. Now, Rob didn't kill the rating, bro. Nobody killed the rating. He got a 4.5 for fuck's sake. Do you know what I mean? Like, Anjan P and $2. I'm a changed man after watching God wrestle live. Happy you enjoyed it, bro. Andres Chapa. I'm hoping I'm getting Chapa. I'm hoping I'm getting that right. Apologies if not. 199. Kenny beat Take how he was beaten at All In. Are you a roll up? I can't remember, bro.
I haven't rewatched it.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Redacted number 2 says they should just agree to a 1-and-1 deal with Ceretism and AEW and then go from there. Yeah, I tend to agree with that, to be honest, bro. Even if that's the best you can do from a starting point, you know. Because if you're a big Joshi fan, you won't want to see Cere fully leave that scene and come to AEW. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah. All right. So what we doing then? Joe?
What do you mean? I need to go. What we doing?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm asking you. Like, do you need to run right now?
I do really, yeah, because I can't leave those boys unattended. All right, I'll be over on LNG when this program is done. It's true.
Who's over there? So you said Novi's not a draw, but who's out?
I think it's Novi and Caden. I think. I don't know. I haven't seen
both of them.
Oh no, it's fucked. I'm gonna go save that, and I'll probably be back next week, folks.
Right,
have a great night. Enjoy Raw. Are we finishing?
Yeah.
Am I leaving or are we finishing? Okay, go.
I just have a little announcement for Girls and Graps that we will be moving the date. We're not doing it Wednesday this week for personal reasons, but we're probably doing it Friday night. We'll see and confirm to you guys. So just keep an eye on the Girls and Graps Twitter.
And Raw review with Sir Paragraph, Mr. Rob. That should be back on tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure who's going to be on it with Rob, but Rob is back, and you will not be getting the solo Montel victory lap horseshit that we got last week. So yeah, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you guys sending your super chats. Appreciate you guys for spending your Monday night with us. Much appreciated. Hope you all enjoyed Revolution. It was a great show. Try not to think too much about the main event. We all need to bully Anna into watching this main event. She's not allowed to get away with it. Otherwise, we are half in her pay because she's not on camera. So I have an excuse.
My pay that's already half. That's crazy.
Hey man, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. We're going to give it to Redacted.
He's also not on camera. How is that fair?
But he's a draw.
Wow.
I mean, he's a big draw, you know? Anyway, all right, appreciate you guys for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow. Peace.